The hidden broccoli aims to introduce a new kind of health into your life, energetic health. So for years, we have addressed physical health. Then we went on to address mental health. And now it is time to acknowledge that we also have energetic health. What does it mean to have energetic health? How do we start to take it into account? How can we integrate it into our life in a much more holistic way? How can we work together with the mental health and medical health fields in order to really integrate these three factors into our life? The principles of it are very simple. And I think that by learning the principles of how energy works is the first step into really starting to think about your energetic health. It's not just about thinking about energy when things are bad or when something happens, or it's about understanding how energy works, how it is manipulated, how it is transformed. What are the different ways in which you are manipulating energy in your day-to-day? How do you maintain energetic hygiene? How can you have a practice of some sort the same way you take a shower? How can you implement a practice in which you are checking in with that energy, in which you are cleansing yourself of whatever energy you might have attracted or walked into during your day-to-day? What energy you're surrounding yourself with? Energetic health is the core of every other health. It is a difficult one to grasp sometimes because it is not something that we can see necessarily, but it is something that is already being taken into consideration in other fields, except we don't think about it this way. For example, stress. Stress is invisible. We don't see stress, and yet we measure it. We can easily identify how it leads to certain medical conditions. Doctors consider it real. And yet it is energy. It is invisible. It is the same thing. So if stress is real, if anxiety is real, then what are the other kinds of energy that we are working with on our day-to-day that might be affecting us as well, both mentally and physically? With hidden broccoli, our goal is to really introduce energetic health into your life, to help you have an understanding of it, to feel comfortable with it, and to start to think about it more and more and start to build this conscious relationship with it in your day-to-day. What happens when you build a relationship with energy? What does that look like in your day-to-day? How does it change your life, or how does it affect you in any positive or negative way? Well, on the one hand, ignorance is bliss. So once you are aware of your energetic health and of the way energy works around you at all times within you, you can no longer ignore it. It becomes something that you are constantly aware of. And the more you are aware of it, the more sensitive you become to it. And so the more you'll start to recognize when you feel it, or the more you'll start to think about the energetic repercussions of certain decisions that you make, or certain things you consume, or certain people that you are around, or the content that you watch, the music that you listen to, the words that you speak. It becomes a little bit overwhelming at first when you really start to just see the humongously big picture and say, oh my God, like, there's a lot of energy that has been affecting my day-to-day. For how many years of your life you have been manipulating energy in one way, shape, or form, except that perhaps you were not fully aware of it. And so the first phases of really coming to terms with this can be hard, because there's a part of it that is difficult to believe at first because it's so intangible in a way, it's invisible. Then there is the fact that in order to really accept your own ability to manipulate energy, you need to also accept the fact that you have been manipulating it for however long you've lived. And so it's about taking responsibility over the life that you've had, the life that you've created, the way in which you have interacted with energy thus far. Once you do that, and then you go into this process of acceptance, of forgiveness, of not beating yourself up, of letting go, and really start to think towards the future, the question becomes, now what do you want? How do you want to now use this ability, this conscious ability, this power? Because it's a lot of power. Understanding that you have the ability to manipulate energy is a humongous responsibility, and one that should not be taken lightly. So now that you know that you have the ability to create, the question is, what life do you want to create?